Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, The Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
Hey.
Hey.
How everybody doing?
Terrific.
Awesome. So I was thinking about this last week. I was just in a feeling of like gratitude, and I was talking to my coworkers, and we were just talking, and we were just basically talking a lot about, things not going right. And so that made me think, I remember at one time in my life, I was thinking like, how I always had a mindset of worrying about the what ifs and things going in the wrong direction, right? And not really realizing that just thinking like that always brings the wrong outcome. And so in the space that I'm in now, it's like I've been more thinking about things going right, and things have been flowing tremendously for me. So I wanted to know, like, have you guys ever thought, like, had that mindset as to where you worry about something so much, and it's like there's no need for you to even be worrying about it?
Yeah, it's man, you just so funny. You walked me right into a story. I was just telling Anna earlier. It was I remember it was maybe about a month ago. I got a text from a friend. It was like, "Hey, you want to go do this or whatever?" Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I was so concerned about things going wrong and like me not being able to do it, sent myself into a whole panic. Like legit, caused myself like a little random scare. Called my brother Rod and said, "Hey man, I'm going through something. I need you to talk to me and help me get myself right." And then we got to like well, why are you even thinking that and creating that in the first place? And I was like, why am I doing that in the first place? So I definitely relate to the first one, but I also now relate to like the feeling of, well, if I continue to flow and feeling everything being good, then everything around me will be good. So yeah, I can definitely relate.
Okay.
Yeah, I know for me, once I thought about it and I realized like nothing get fixed from me worrying. Like I never solved anything by being in a feeling of being very worried. So now I try to look at, once I was able to switch it from worrying and realizing that nothing gonna get fixed like that, I'm like, okay, well, how do I want this to go? Because I would map out how things would go all the way through, and it'll be all negative all the time. So I'm like, all right, well, how do I want this to go? And that shift things for me.
Okay. I know for me sometimes, it still happens for me sometimes as to where I be worrying about something, and I know that I shouldn't worry about it, but it's almost like I've done it so long, and so now I'm at the shift as to where I understand and I'm aware that there's no need for me to worry. So it's like, all right, Steve, calm down. There's no need to worry. Everything is going to play out. So like you said, right, and it just pretty much piggyback off of you. After I do that, I'm cool, and things actually play out. But why do you think like people worry so much though? What is?
It's funny. I was having the same conversation like 2 days ago, and we was talking about worrying, and I was basically explaining what I just said to my friend, and he was like, well, it's just like, he was basically saying like, well, it's a natural thing to like when something happens, your brain just automatically worry. And so I was like, well, I can see that. But then I was like, that's when and I explained to him the game, like catch yourself in the act. I was like, if you catch yourself worried, then you have the power to instantly switch that thought into something positive or how you want it to go.
Right.
And so I think that's a big thing. If people feel they naturally like worried, but they also naturally have the power to change that thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's actually great advice and a great tactic to use, because I do think that that feeling of like worrying might be natural, but I think it's because it's what we've been taught and learned growing up. But like, you know, as we say on this podcast all the time, you know, we're here to, you know, change common thinking. And so in doing that, it's also, well, you no longer have to feel like worry instantly. Like you can feel gratitude instantly as well. Like the same way you create that feeling of worry, you can create a better feeling in that moment. And just now, every time something happens, you don't even get to the worry because you replace that with another feeling.
So, there's so much stuff y'all said I want to comment on, but I want to comment on what you just said. So, a lot of times something can happen in the moment, right? Like, let's say if you trip and your ankle hurts. Or let's just say you trip and so you just automatically like, oh man, I hurt my ankle, right? So that's something I'm learning to catch myself in instead of saying, dang it, like something bad, to say, oh, something great, like, oh my goodness. Because we are the ones that's giving everything meaning, and the universe is responding to our vibration. So if I'm like, dang it, then I probably just hurt my ankle. Right? But if I'm like, oh, yippee. And I'm being facetious, but I really do try to catch myself in the dang it part and say, oh my goodness, like instantly throw my vibration high instead of bringing it down so reactionary in a low way.
And then I also like, I try to keep in mind too, when I have those moments, it's like the same energy that I put into, that I would have put into worrying, take that same energy and flip it around and think about all the things that can possibly go right for me, you know, and I think that helped me a whole lot. It helped me a lot.
Absolutely. Like a lot of times, because I think you were saying that the topic is things are meant to go right. And I can imagine that some people would be like, well, if it's meant to go right, why is there so much drama going on right up in here?
Right.
But what I would say to that is we keep giving our vibration to the drama. We keep giving our energy to what we're seeing out there. We're giving our energy to what we see in front of us instead of creating in our minds what it is. And so as long as we're giving our energy to that drama, you're going to keep creating more of that. So just flipping it.
It's crazy. I was talking about all this. We had like a good 2 hours to talk.
Really?
And so, like, we was just having a conversation. So he was giving me the flip side of things or whatever. And so he was saying, you know, he was basically like, I was just saying what you just said. He was like, well, what about all these people that had all these things happen in the past and they just never had things go right? And he was just saying pretty much that. And I was just like, man, one of my favorite lines is the best way to predict the future is to create it. And I was just telling him like, hey, we got all the power to create a new story like right now, like or tomorrow or whenever you want to do it. And he understood that, like, and I was telling him like, you know, once you take your power back and realize, hey, you connected to everything, that old story don't matter anymore.
Right.
Because, like I said, you can create a new one right now. Right. And you have the choice and the power to do that.
I would say, like, for people, you know, when they say, well, why do bad things happen, you know, to them, I would look at it like, you know, like we always say, you know, things, it don't happen to you, it happens for you. So even if something bad happens, if you look at it like, okay, it happened for a reason, you know, and whatever that reason is something that's going to better you later on in the long run. So I try to keep that perspective in mind too. So even when something bad happens to me, you know, let's just say at this very moment, I might be mad, I might be in my feelings a little bit, but later on I might not realize that it happened for me for a reason, you know. It was something for me to learn or take away from that.
Yeah, you know, there's other thing I've been thinking about too while we're doing this topic. Like, so the feeling of worry is so interesting Because like now I want to challenge myself to every time I'm worried about something, I want to instantly feel gratitude for even having that to worry about.
Nah.
Like, so the idea like oh man, I'm worried that like my car's gonna break down. Like, no, I think I just want to rather think, man, I'm very thankful to have a car that is running, and you know, it might give me a hiccup every now and then, but at the same time, she get on up and down these hills, and like I'm just really appreciative of that. So I think that's actually that could be a fun game too. Like every time you start to worry about something or like have doubt in it, instantly also thank the universe for having that in your life in the first place, and thank yourself for creating a path to where that was actually attracted to you. Because I think that's another big part too. Like in thinking the universe, you also need to think yourself, because everything that is around you is from you forming and attracting it and creating it, and from your vibrations. So in that sense, you were vibrating at a level high enough at some point to create these things. So take time and be grateful for those things.
Speaking on that word worry, it's funny because I just told Tehran the line that I've been saying all the time lately is, I don't worry about money, I let money worry about me. Like I've been saying that so much lately, and it's been working for me. But yeah, like I don't know how I got to that thought or whatever, but when I came up with that line a couple months ago, but the feeling was that, like we've been saying, like me worrying is not gonna help me. Let me just think about, let me just let that think about me, and let me just stay vibrating high.
Right. And I know, like for me in the morning time, I'm always, you know, I'm in the bathroom and I look in the mirror and I just continuously remind myself, you know, I show myself gratitude. I show myself appreciation just for me. There's nothing for me to worry about. And so if I start my day off in a positive mindset and thinking that, oh, the day gonna be awesome. Everything is happening for me for a reason. I'm not gonna have no bad things happen to me. Even if I do have something bad happen, it's for, you know, it's gonna be a good outcome. But just try to put myself in that positive state of mind, and things work out for me.
Yeah, I think another thing that helped me too in the feeling of worrying is what helps me every now and then when I actually interact it is I try to erase the idea of something bad even being possible, like, but not like the idea of like, oh, something bad being impossible to happen, but like the idea of it can't be bad.
Right.
Like, it
there you go.
Be bad. So I've been I try and challenge that every now and then. That usually definitely helps knock out any
To
worry.
me, that's the key. The key is to release judgment. And like, you know, the original title was, what was the original title?
Things are supposed to go right.
Things are supposed to go right, because if you say right, that assumes that something's wrong, right?
Or things going good.
And so, and like when we're labeling things as bad, that also assumes that, I guess like you were saying, that something bad could happen that there's no good result from. So, like putting a judgment on something it's just a challenge to do it correctly. I would say.
There you go.
Because we don't have the full story. I think we don't have the full story.
Glad y'all brought this up.
Man, this is the greatest combo.
Yeah, but it was good you said that, because we had that conversation. He was like, well, you know, natural disasters happen. Basically, we was talking. He was saying, well, optimistic people drown too, which is a funny line. But we were just basically talking about what you said, and he was like, well, people have insurance for natural disasters, like all of that. And I like what you said, because it's like, even if we perceive something bad to happen, it happened for me. It happened for us. And nobody's going anything looking for something bad to happen. Like, that shouldn't be what we're thinking about or what the focus is on.
I think something else, like just having my mindset already in a positive state, and like you said, not worrying about nothing, because there's nothing for me to even worry about. So when I do that, I think that sort of keeps me away from the negative thinking, and worrying about things going wrong. Because I know all the time when I'm at work, I always tell the guys, it's not that bad. You know what I'm saying? I always tell them all the time, like, it's not that bad, because they always worrying. And I'm like, what you worrying for? Like, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
So I think when I first heard the topic, I was thinking more like the concept that the universe is set up, is designed for things to be more in our favor than the opposite. And if you think about it in your own life, there's been plenty of times when you was just vibrating so low and you just like, oh, whoa, it's me. But good things happen anyway.
Right.
And I know for much of my life, I was just vibrating in a low space where, you know, there shouldn't have been any light to come in, and yet some kind of way there was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that though, even because just believing that it changes like the way that you live life. If you just believe, like, all right, you know, when I wake up in the morning, most things are slanted for me to go well. Like, it changes like the idea of like too many bad things even being able to happen in your life, right? Whatever you call that.
When I was a young kid, I would feel like, let's say I'm here and this is rock bottom, right? When I would be so low, I would be like, I can't wait until I hit rock bottom. Mm-hmm. Like, I would be like, I just couldn't wait. Like, I need to hit rock bottom. It's because I knew that once I hit rock bottom, I was going to shoot back up. Mm-hmm. And so it was some type of knowing that there was nothing lower than that. Like, I couldn't get lower than that. There's a bottom, and then things were going to turn around. Kind of like what all of y'all said, like this concept of just recognizing that everything is happening for me. I still don't know about that everything happens for a reason stuff. I don't buy that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. Because listen, look.
Go ahead and break it down. Break it down.
I'm not trying to break down, but the other week, so all year long, I knew that I was supposed to be going to this birthday party on February 24th. And February 24th just happens to be another one of my friends' birthday. Okay. So since midnight, since the clock turned into February 24th, I'm typing in happy birthday because it's February 24th. And I knew I had to go to a party on February 24th. But I thought I had to go to the party on Saturday. Uh-huh. So February 24th was a Friday. I went to bed.
I went to bed.
Yeah, I went to bed that night. And then I just sat straight up in the bed. I was like, the party is today. Because I had to hurry up and get ready and get to this party. And just the whole time, I'm like, why did this happen? Why?
Because you had to get to the party.
But I didn't realize that we would never know all the reasons why. Right. But some things, I'm just like, man, nothing could have possibly happened between. You know, like, for example, let's say if I'm standing right here and let's say a leaf fall off the tree. Why?
Spark a conversation.
It's something. It might need some water. It might telling you I need some water.
Everything is moving parts.
Yeah, so we on the topic, but all right. Yeah, well, that was a good topic. I feel like we could talk a long time for real about that topic.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But thank you guys. And thank you everybody for joining us. And we look forward to chatting with you again next week. And until then, this is Arvette.
And this is Steve.
Teron.
Rodney.